Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, everybody. Hi, everybody at Kent. Looks like we got a full house over there, except for that front row right there, those two seats. Everybody else looks, we look like we are going outside. So hi, you guys. Good to see so many people there at Kent tonight for the watch party. That's awesome. A couple announcements that Becky and I are going to start with. Becky, can I hear you? Just want to make sure I can hear you. I'll start, and let's just make sure, though, but Becky's got some things, too. So number one, y'all, the registrations for our auction are rolling in, so yay for that. We've got some people buying up the tables and tickets, so putting it out there. Get your tickets as quickly as you can, please. Rally all your friends. It's coming up on October 21st. It's going to be here before we know it. We got to sell those tickets. We need people there. And then we also need donation items. So thank you for all of you who are already letting us know what you're gathering. We've gotten some live auction, some more live auction items that are pretty cool. So I know Casey's mom is going to be donating her property again over there in Silverwood. We've got that. She's got some other property. We've got Jolene's mom, the Fritzers, that are donating a couple of nights at their property in Anacortes. So we're looking for like some. Anybody who has any connections up there near Silverwood or near Anacortes, maybe you've got some connections over there, maybe you could help us gather some gift certificates to restaurants nearby so we can kind of put a package together. Now, a lot of people are reaching out saying, I don't know what to gather. What do you need? So I'm going to put this together. So is that on the TV?
That fan at Kent is,
okay.
You must be having a fan.
Oh, okay. Maybe, all right, I don't want to mute them because Becky will be talking. I know it's pretty warm over there, I hear. Anyways, I'm going to be putting a list together to make it really easy, you guys. So if you don't already have something in mind that you want, for those of you who are putting baskets together, we're just asking baskets by September 12th if you're going to make the basket yourself and put something together. If you don't really know what to put together for yourself, I'll put out a list of items that we're looking for. So I'll make it super, super easy. But if there's something in particular that you love to shop for, pick your theme, go to town, put the baskets together, great. Let me know if you have any questions on that. Becky, what else? What else am I missing?
You're missing about matching programs.
Yes, can you tell them about that?
Right, so if your employer has a matching program, so you give to Battlefield, they'll match what you give. This is the time to sign up for it now. So if you work for Boeing, who else? There's lots of businesses that do it.
Lots.
Nordstrom does it. Andy, help me out here. I can't remember all of them. But check and see if your business does do matching, because that, it doubles the money. It's an awesome way to help us. So
it adds up really quick. And so you do want to pay attention to what your company's deadline is. So please take a look at that. We have a lot of Boeing families. We have Microsoft families, Nordstrom's. US Bank just came in today. Thank you, Bev Tandy, put her matching in. And so we just got the match today. And so that was like $200. And that added up over the course of a couple months. So if you're a monthly partner and you give to Battlefield Addiction, you turn in your matching to your company and they match at 100%. So it adds up really quick. So be paying attention to that. Even retired folks from Boeing and stuff, it's still, they still match. So there's just a process that you need to go through to do that for your company. But please take a look at that and let us know if we can help at all. We'd love to. We are, Battlefield Addiction is a 501c3 nonprofit, so we are eligible for any match campaigns out there. If your company has it, we are eligible. We just need someone to instigate it. So, okay, sorry, there's a lot of distractions going on tonight. We got a lot of fun activity going on. Okay, so that's matching. Mom's group tomorrow. All you ladies, please join us tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Every Wednesday, we hop on Zoom for an hour. We have our coffee and tea together. And we connect every Wednesday, and it's just for all of you ladies. And it's just a really great way for us to get to know each other more. We talk about the topic from the night before, which I love, being able to process it together and process it out together. And then we just get to know each other more, and it's just so much fun. So please join us. I know lots of you work, so if you ever can organize your lunch hour around that, join us here and there. Even if you can't come every week, join us when you can. And if you need the link for that, you can reach out to me or Becky for that. And then, those of you who are in Kent, grab some flyers and posters from Becky on the auction and help us get those out there. You can grab those while you're there. And I might circle back around at the end here and touch on auction a little bit more and clarify just a little bit because there's a few things I've lost in my brain and I wanted to circle back around. So we'll do that a little later after our talks and all that kind of stuff so I can gather it and make it a little more clear. So we'll circle back around. So let's go over to Kyle. So if you're new out there tonight, let me introduce you to Mr. Kyle Munkers. He's a manager over at Rebuild Recovery. He's running the show there at Kent tonight, but he also brings us our comedy each week. So he is here to bring us Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner. So let me get everybody else off spotlight here, Kyle.
Yeah, sure, that's
Okay. Take it away, Kyle.
All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. A friend of mine, he's a DJ. He just had a kid. He named it Angie has a bedazzled Volkswagen Beetle. It bugs me. You know, when I was doing meth, it was intense when I did meth. My microwave collected data on me. My TV would spy on me. But worst of all, my vacuum. My vacuum collected the most dirt. The other day I spotted an albino Dalmatian. Now it looks normal. I went to the Apple store. I got a brand new iPhone. While there, I got robbed. I'm an eyewitness.
Oh, man.
I had a terrible nightmare that I was a muffler. Boy, was that exhausting.
That was good.
I did a marathon in the Middle East. I ran. My dad likes to go fishing. He's a master at baiting. A skilled seaman.
Thank you, Kyle. All right. Let's get this fixed. Okay. Let's do a quick sound check. Make sure everybody can hear ours.
Love you, Cam. Nice to see your face. Glad you're here. Everybody here? Can everybody hear me?
Love you too, Art.
Thanks, buddy. I'm not getting a. Okay. How's it sound, though? Not really getting.
Hey, Amanda, can you give us a thumbs up? Can you hear Art okay?
Okay.
Okay, great. We're good. We're good.
All right.
All right, let's roll.
When I realized, I think we got to cut these.
Fans.
Yeah, just for a minute.
Okay.
It's a little distracting. Yeah. If you were on last week, you heard a story, and I told it in a way that was linear and historical. And then what I said was, when I became the observer of my thoughts, and I learned about this process of change, real change rather than progression, that change is actually upward. And it's when we get above ourselves and above our own experience, and we're able to look at it, and we're able to analyze ourselves in that experience, and we're able to look at our thoughts, and we're able to begin to have direction on what we do with those thoughts and what we do with this experience. And I said last week that it led to compassion, and hopefully it leads to kindness, and the things that I aspired, the changes that I really wanted to make, the changes that were progression. And I said progression is just getting more stuff and moving up the ladder of society. And those are two different things, the difference between progression and change. And I made it clear. And so I realized the story isn't complete and might need to add a little bit more to it about how it gets to that point where you can feel kindness and compassion in the face of destruction, or in the face of somebody doing things that seem seemingly unbearable, and kind of a temperature coming at you that you can get to the ability to handle that temperature of someone. But I'll start back with, when I was a youngster, I aspired. I remember it distinctly, aspiring to be dominant. I remember looking up to all men who got to yell, and they were the final say. So it started with my father. When my father yelled, it was over. There was no rebuttal. There was no argument. He ended whatever was going on, just completed it. And that moved up to my football coaches. And then it went to and I had all these men that dominated me. And, if I did something wrong, they yelled. And so my whole life, I didn't want to be the one yelled at anymore. I want to be the one that's doing the yelling. I want to be the one that's able to silence a room with my dominance and my anger. And I want to be able to yell at people and get them to behave differently. If I could just yell at people and I get to say how behavior is. And so I created I wanted to create a world where when I yelled, it all ended. But I think time started to change a little bit. But so I did that. I got to this place where I was able to have people living under my care, and I was able to have workers working for me. And then I got to the point where I thought, here it is. If they do something wrong, yell. And so I had a house full of people that were under my care, and they all lived at the big house. And if they did something wrong, then dominant Art would just come over and he would yell. And I thought that would do it, but maybe that would change behavior a little bit. But what it would really do is make people hate me and make people really, in the long run, not want anything to do with me. And it made people talk behind my back, and it made people, but see, I thought it was like with my father. It just ended it. And I thought, because of the respect I had for my father, but I realized, so the next thing that happened in this process of becoming the observer myself was I started understanding what pain is. I started understanding that first of all, we have to understand what pain is. So before we're here, we're all dealing with our pain, and there's plenty to go around, and it's daily and it's all the time. And I never believed that I was in pain. So when I got sober, I didn't understand that I was in pain. I didn't understand pain. I didn't know what it was. And I really, truly, if somebody told me I was in pain, I'd go, no, I'm not. Well, then why am I yelling? Well, because they're doing something wrong. And that was just the way it is. I'm yelling because people are doing something wrong. I'm not in pain. Don't tell me I'm in pain. That's crazy. And so I didn't until I heard Eckhart Tolle again. And first he said, you need to become the observer of your own thoughts. And then he told me what pain was. He said, pain is just resistance. It's resistance to what is. And so that made a lot of sense to me, but it really shook me to my core, because emotional pain being just this thing that's resisting the facts. So there would be facts about what was happening, but I would resist those facts, and I didn't want that to be happening. So I wanted to try to dominate, control, change it in any way I could. And so whatever was happening, I didn't accept that was happening. And then through my dominance, I would try to end it. But I didn't really recognize that I was in pain. I never recognized that and what pain is. And so first thing I want to do is, have you been able in your life, and when you become this observer, are you able to spot your pain? Are you able to even recognize that you're in pain? Are you able to sit there and go, I'm in pain? Or is it just, no, they're doing something wrong? So if we classify pain as body resistance in the body. So I'm in pain when my body is tightening. And we don't need to distinguish between all these negative emotions. We don't need to distinguish between anxiety and worry and anger and fear. And we don't need to distinguish. Guess what? They're all just levels of resistance. Boredom is a level of resistance. It's your body going, oh, I don't like this current moment. And so it's all these just levels of resistance. And they all kind of have a smell to it. It's all kind of like, well, all the same. Just my muscles are tightening. I'm in pain. I'm feeling resistance to what is. So I'm feeling this resistance to what is, and that's it. That's all it is. And so when I started first understanding that resistance was my problem, first of all, I didn't want to be in resistance anymore. It became, I just didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel what it was like to have a tight body, to have muscles tightening. I wanted to be loose and relaxed. And this went on, this practice of one, noticing when somebody's doing something wrong, noticing that I'm in pain, noticing my own fears, noticing all this stuff that was going on around me so I could learn to handle pain. Pain being resistance to what is. And so now when I look back at coaches who yell, I saw a great TikTok video today where I kind of like going to this one. It's a page and it's all about boat launch chronicles. And so it's men that have trouble getting their boat on the trailer or backing it in or they're arguing over the spot that they're in. And I watched these two guys get in this fist fight right on the dock there and knock each other into the water. And so, first of all, what these two men don't understand that are knocking each other and fighting over a spot is that they're scared. They don't understand that they're in resistance. They don't understand that it's their pain. They're not actually looking at it as pain. They're just looking at somebody doing something wrong. And because somebody's doing something wrong, I need to dominate them. I need to control them. I need to end it. I didn't understand that people in road rage were just two scared little boys. I didn't understand that the coach that was yelling, I saw this great thing. If you're a Seahawks fan, I'm not. But I saw this beautiful clip the other day of Bill Belichick in the end of that Super Bowl, and he's standing on the sidelines and he's watching the Seahawks and their insecurities, and he's watching them all in pain, and they're on the 1 yard line, and all they have to do is run it in, and the clock is ticking down, and everybody in Bill's ear is telling Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, are telling him, call a timeout, Bill, call a timeout. Bill goes, no, I got this. And he looked over at the other sidelines and he saw him in disarray and resistance. And he said, no, they're going to screw it up. And he knew the Seahawks were going to screw it up. So he said, I got this. And he goes, they're in pain. I'm not insecure about what's going on. I'm not scared. I'm not jumping around. I'm calm. And that calmness and preparation and all that, and just to watch a man in that situation. And now I look back at my coaches who yell. I look back at my father who yelled. I look at anyone that's yelling and I go, wow, they're in pain and they're trying to dominate the situation. They're trying to control with their fear or with their, it's like I'm going to end you with my words and try to end this whole situation right now. And it's so futile these days. By the way, I think yelling used to work for our generation. Those of us that younger, our parents yelled and we actually went, man, I might be doing something wrong here. I don't think that works anymore at all. I think that the kids just go, now all of a sudden you're yelling and you're the problem. But the recognition for each of us, and what I really want to get to today is I want to ask the question, because there's this thing about these conversations that us as families and us as people all need to have. And the question I have for you is do those conversations come from your heart, or do those conversations come from your pain? And there is a big distinction between conversations coming from our heart and conversations coming from our pain. And understanding that if we're coming from our pain, if we're in resistance, I like when I used to need to talk. So if somebody did something wrong in my life, there was this need to talk. and I would be in resistance, and I needed to talk to release myself of the resistance. So I'd be sitting, stewing, waiting for the person to get home because I was in resistance and I was in pain. And once they got there, I could unload my pain onto them. And I can blame them, and I can say, you're causing this resistance in me, and never do it again. And I think that that was going to work. So I would wait. And when I needed to talk to somebody, I always see. But what happened was the dominance didn't work. People weren't picking up what I was putting down. People knew when I was speaking from my pain, and they could care less. It went one ear and out the other. And so I had to start adjusting the way I communicated. If I wanted to get through to people, if I wanted to actually make a difference, I had to speak from my heart. And in order to speak from my heart, I had to get rid of my resistance. And if I was speaking from my resistance, I spoke in a different way. I spoke blaming. I spoke accusatory. I spoke in these ways that were baby-like. I said, and so every time someone's angry and they're talking to somebody from their pain, what they're saying is, I'm in pain and it's your fault, and I don't want to be in pain anymore. And I can't handle my pain. I can't handle it. You're the problem. You're causing it me. Make it go away. And so that's the whole story of every single person yelling. Every single person that is yelling is not able to handle their pain and then blaming somebody else for it. Now that's fine. You can say, well, they're doing something wrong. That's true, but why are you in pain? That's true. Do you need to be in pain to conduct yourself, to make that go away? And so learning to speak from the heart is knowing the difference in my pain, understanding when I'm in pain, and understanding how I process my own pain before I speak to someone, before I then try to communicate, so that I can get to a place that the way I speak, now we all know, and you've been on here, you guys have heard me do solution groups from pain, and you've heard it. And every night when I do one from pain, everybody points it out. Oh, wow, Art must be really going through something today. Then I can disguise it and go, no, it's just passion. I'm just really passionate about what I'm saying. Or I can actually say, wow, look, you're right. I'm speaking from pain sometimes. I'm not speaking from my heart. And then when I speak from my heart, all the loving mothers, and then they do a good solution group and go, we love Art. And then if I speak from my pain, they do mom's group and they go, geez, Art was a little off last night. And so, I'm held accountable for my pain. I don't get on here and yell and tell people they got to do something different because I'm in pain. I don't get to walk around this house and when I hear the kids acting stupid, yell at them. I don't get to do it. It's not that I don't get to do it. It's that I don't want to do that anymore. That I don't want to be a dominant alpha and pummel everyone and make them stop. I want to be a guy that can handle his pain. So now I have to learn to handle my pain. I have to learn to feel that resistance. I have to feel it and name it. I have to observe it and go, whoa, there's me in resistance. There it is. And I feel my pain and identify it. And it can be worry. It can be panic. It can be anxiety. It can be anger. All these different measurements of resistance. Worry is a light resistance. Your body tightens a little bit. Your mind goes a little wacko for a minute. And then panic is more of a resistance. All this stuff's about fight or flight, blood pressure, and learning to feel my blood pressure, learning to see when the resistance comes, the heart rate beats, the thoughts get aggressive, the thoughts get dominant, knowing the whole process of pain, understanding when I go through it, oh, there's somebody saying mean things to me or not being, their temperature's hot and they're coming in hot at me. And now I can feel it. I can go, okay, there's my heart rate. There's my body, blood rushing to my feet or my blood rushing to my hands because I want to fight. There's the process. I'm in fight or flight right now. And then I can actually sit through that. And I can wait it out. I can just go, there's pain. There's my pain. So I didn't know I was in pain. I was this 40-year-old man that didn't know I had any pain. And if you would have told me that I had pain, I would have argued with you. I said, I'm not in pain. If you would have told me when I was angry that I was scared, I would have argued with you. I would have said, I'm not scared. They're stupid. I'm yelling because they are stupid. I'm not yelling because I'm scared. That's ridiculous. But yelling people are scared. They're in fear. It's caused flight or fight response in their mind. And then people get proud. Well, we don't yell or we don't. I'm not. Listen, resistance or no resistance. If you feel resistance, it doesn't matter if you're yelling or not. Your language is not going to be from the heart. Your language is going to be from blame. You can sit real quietly and grit your teeth and go, hey, we're not yelling. But people know. People know what's coming from people's hearts and what's coming from people's pain. And when I speak to people from pain, I can't disguise it. If I'm at the poker table and a guy beats me in a hand and I go, nice fucking hand, I can't help it. And I'm just trying to be fake and get through my pain, and I'm trying to be nice at the same time. Try to be nice when you're in resistance. It's not easy and it's impossible and it's fake. So it's only when you get to that point where you can go, wow. You know, and when we call speaking from the heart, what that means is your language is descriptive. It means the language that you're talking about is descriptive. If I speak to the heart to one of these kids and I say, listen, I went through your experience. I've experienced that experience. I know exactly what it feels like to go through that. I remember being in a house and wanting to do drugs so badly but wanting not to piss everyone off. And I remember the experience of just sitting there. How do I get these drugs and not get caught? And how do I not hurt people? And how do I do all this? And I remember being a youngster sitting when I was on drugs, sitting there with that dilemma. So now when I see somebody else get drugs, of course it scares me. It puts me in pain. Of course it worries my reputation for my program, and it does all this stuff. But that's not their problem. That has nothing to do with them. That has to do with my resistance. So now I got to get through that resistance before I speak to the heart, from the heart to them. And I can say, my heart is open, and now I'm just helping you in your experience. Now I'm just able to be there. I remember that. And my language, now if I'm in pain, my language is accusatory. My language is blaming. My language is saying, you shouldn't do that. And my language is dominant. And so the latter part of the story about how somebody gets to kindness and compassion, and everyone just says on their Facebook, you should be compassionate. Everyone says you should be kind. Everyone's got great advice. I've never seen that advice from a kind and compassionate person, by the way. But that advice is always available on Facebook. Well, tell me how to get there. Tell me how do I get there? Tell me how do I get to compassion? And I'm trying to explain to you that we get to compassion by getting rid of our resistance. And the more we sit with our resistance, the less resistant we become. So we gain ground. We start gaining ground on how much we can handle and how much we can spot. Now, the working place for this, and this is the rub, is the work. The work, and where you work from in this process is where resistance meets consciousness. Now, understand that. You, the presence, the awareness that you are, everything that you are, the awareness, sees the pain come and meets it. And says, there it is. Me and you are meeting. Me and this resistance are now meeting. And now I have a choice. I felt the resistance in my body and we're meeting. My awareness is meeting it and going, there it is. I can feel it coming on. There it is. Now I have a chance. I can lean back or I go past and go into the pain. And if I go into the pain, I start saying and doing things from that pain. I start acting from that pain. I start not being able to be with the pain. And so it's this recognition of the pain and the leaning back and saying, okay, there's pain. They're talking and I didn't have resistance. And then they said this and my resistance came on. And now my consciousness, my presence meets that resistance and I can do the work. I can lean back, or what most people are going through in their life is their consciousness never meets their pain. So the consciousness never meets the resistance. So somebody can now just pull me here and pull me right into my own pain, and I will start blaming, and I will start telling people, and I will start trying to dominate the situation, and I will start yelling, or I will start doing that. This happens to me a lot. still happens. Even though I've been working this process, pain still gets me, and I don't meet it at the point of where the resistance is. And then I say and do things that are stupid, and I make mistakes. And to me, in this business, it's always a mistake. 100% of the time that I yell, it's a mistake. 100% of the time I blame, it's a mistake. And so what I'm really trying to teach parents to do is to love tough. But you can't love when you're in resistance. See, I'm not telling you to let everything go and do everything for your kid and buy them dope and let them run your house and doing that. I'm saying, say, no, you can't be in my home with no resistance in your body. No, I won't buy you dope. I'm sorry. Speak from the heart. When you ask me to do these things, and I have an experience as a mother, and my experience that I have is all the fears come, and I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you, but you're only giving me that. And so now I feel like I have to buy you dope because I don't want to lose my son. But I can't do that. You need to understand and you need to be able to describe your experience. So to be descriptive and say, no, I can't do that. And here's why. But there's no pain there. You're speaking from the heart. And so this understanding of this distinction between, as human beings, we don't speak. We speak from. Every time we speak. And I'm not talking about small talk, and I'm not talking about the weather. I'm talking about when we speak. We are either in adult conversations, in real conversations, we are speaking from the heart. In infantile conversations, we are speaking from our pain. We blame each other. Notice, you will always know that you're speaking from your pain when a person defends themselves. It's 100%. You are speaking from your pain, and they are defending themselves because they can feel your tension. They're scared now. They're scared because you're speaking from that pain, and they feel the resistance. And now you've put them into resistance, and now they have to blame back. And so we're trying to teach folks a different language, an ability to speak from your heart. Now, as you go in trying to speak from your heart, you will fail. You will then start getting into pain because they will say or do something. Now back to the heart. But understanding in those conversations that that's the growth. Right there, what happened? They said something, your consciousness missed the pain, went into the pain, you spoke from the pain. You said something stupid, you said something that was about 10 years ago, you said something that was infantile, and then maybe you even stay in that pain. And so later on, you're still in the pain and you're still angry and you're still in it. So you're in bed and then you remember what you should have said. And you say, man, I should have said this. This would have really got him. No, it wouldn't have. It never gets them. When you're speaking from the pain, you will always fail. You never get the gotcha moment. You never get to send. You ever see when people are texting from their pain? They text very fast. That means they're texting from their pain. So you see them doing a text and they're texting like this. They're in pain and they're blaming the person on the other end. And they're trying to come up with the perfect little thing to get them so they don't do it anymore and to be witty and to be whatever they're doing. When what works, when we want to change folks' behavior, is speaking from the heart. What works is if I can get my heart open and I can speak to somebody. Comcast puts me into pain immediately. I can't speak to Comcast from my heart. So they put me in pain and I got a call, and no matter what, if there's a conversation with Comcast, I will end up yelling 100% of the time. I never get it. They call me sometimes and then they ask who I am and I start immediately yelling. They want me to verify who I am when they called me. So that makes me yell. All of it puts me into pain. So, it's the new thing. People call us, they call you from the bank or they call you from Comcast or wherever they're calling from, and then they say they want you to verify who you are. It is insane. You called me. I'm not gonna. So this is what we're here for. We're here to learn to get in this observer position. We're trying to get to a place where we first observe our thoughts. Now we observe the whole experience. The experience of resistance, the experience of pain, getting to the point where we can describe what that pain feels like, describe what happens in my body. There's my heart rate. It just pounded, fight or flight. If I'm scared, the blood runs to my legs, so you can feel the blood running to my legs. It does that so that we can run. And if we're angry, the blood rushes to our hands. And so our heart rate pumps all the blood to our hands so we can fight or we can knife someone. And so that's the difference, whether it's whether it's anger resistance or fear resistance or whatever it is. We start observing this in ourselves, just the fact that we can, as people, go, oh, there's my pain. I'm in pain. I'm in resistance. I'm there. And then we can stop blaming each other for our own resistance. We can say, it's just, I don't want to be in pain anymore, and this is the only way out. The only way out is that I've learned to handle more and more resistance. That means I can handle hotter and hotter temperatures around me. You think you could live here in this house for a year? Go ahead, give it a shot. Give it a shot. Live with 10 drug addicts for a year, give it a shot. And see how much pain you could be put in, whether it's the loud rap music, whether it's the not I like rap, but their rap seems to have nothing but treble and no story. And I got to decipher it like it's a different language. And most of the time you don't know what they're saying. So that's pain. By the way, that'll put you into resistance. Loud music when you're waking up, when you're going to bed, when you're having dinner. Also, these kids know everything. They know everything about everything. So, if I drive up in my Infinity, they'll tell me how to make that Infinity run better. On and on and on.
Experts.
Yeah, they're experts in all fields. Especially high performance automobiles. They all know how to, told me up at Kent that with my BMW, I could just, add a little thing and all of a sudden I could go 900 miles an hour. All you gotta do is just put this on. You could go 900. All right. What are you doing driving around at 100? So they know everything about that. And I always say they know everything about cars except how to get one and keep one. they don't know that part, So
We knew that part.
And they'll do dumb shit. They'll do drugs. These ones don't, but I'll get a new batch some days and those ones will do drugs. But it was all about this. So this was all for me. This story, to make me feel the resistance. And I think it's all for you. This addiction thing showing up to teach you how to handle pain. I know everyone says the addict can't handle pain. I think they're handling it just fine. I think it's all of us that need to learn how to handle pain. Can we all stop yelling? Can we all stop being insecure and scared? Can we calm down? Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. Listen outside right now. Nothing's happening. No one's coming to eat us. No one's coming to kill us. There's no threat. But we have now turned our insecurities on each other because somebody went somewhere, somebody's, told me I'm bad or said words to me. So I didn't know I was in so much pain that you couldn't say words to me. If you said the wrong words. Remember, I once had this. I brought my dogs over to the big house and this gentleman looked at my dogs and got scared and he went in his room and then that made me very angry. And so I'm yelling at this guy not to be scared of my dogs. And then he said, well, I'm going to move out. And I go, fine, move out then. What the hell? I mean, the dude just said he's scared of my dogs. He shouldn't be. Well, he is. And so those kind of situations used to always happen. So this learning to handle your own pain. By the way, if you're yelling, you're in pain. There's no way around it. If you're whatever you're doing that's tightening these muscles, if you're dominating, you're in pain. If you're fighting at a boat launch, that's because you're a scared infant. And you're actually scared that that situation is going to go. And that actually makes the situation to the point where it could go bad. A scared man road raging to another driver. It's insane. It's like, dude made a mistake. He moved into your lane. Easy. Instead, they yell to the point where they want to kill each other. There's no real threat here. What the real threat is us closing our hearts, us trying to dominate and fight each other, us killing each other over beliefs. You believe that? Can't even have a conversation. Right? I love this one. Don't have a conversation about politics. Why? Because we're infants and we'll try to kill each other in the same room over dinner if we talk about politics. Because I believe in my belief so badly that I'm scared that you don't believe it, and on and on and on. And I'm actually can't talk about politics. Really? Why? Because you're in resistance and you don't like being resistance and you want to blame the other person's talking about words that's causing your resistance. Why can't we talk about politics? Why can't we calm down? Why can't we talk about religion? Calm down. It shouldn't get you so fearful and upset. But if somebody took the stance that said, listen, when I talk about politics, I get scared and upset. My body goes into resistance. Okay, well, work through that. Grow up. Just grow up. Then we could have a conversation about reality and how we could maybe get somewhere. Now, I have these same issues. I just know that if I'm yelling, if I'm doing this stuff, I just know that I'm being an infant. I just learned that. And I learned every time I regret it. Every single time. I regret when I come on here and I speak from my pain and people can notice it. And I'm being a child and trying to get my way and control and get everyone to think the way I'm thinking. And so that drives me, driven by pain. I love when I'm able to speak from the heart. So I practice. I practice dealing with my pain in the off time. I practice dealing with my pain when I'm driving. I practice dealing, and it's just dealing with my resistance. There it is. And it's never you did that to me anymore. It's I'm in resistance. That's it. That's nothing else. There's no other. And hopefully my consciousness can meet that resistance and I can work there and get right there and I can do the work and I can see where I need to pick up the shovel and I can see where I need to start digging and I can see where I need to do the work right there. But if it misses it and I go into my pain, I will regret it. And maybe we need to out each other because maybe people don't feel like they should regret it when they go in there, but you should because you don't look too good. You're losing your shit over words. You're losing your shit over things that aren't even happening. Nothing's happened. Here we are. Well, I'm losing my shit and I'm in resistance about what might happen. Well, it's not happened. Here we are. So for me, that's the ladder and the part of the journey that will go on my whole story. It's not linear. It's not historical. It's expansive. It's a story about being able to handle people's pain that direct it towards me, people handling the pain of these kids that come to me for help, handling the pain of my wife, handling the pain of everyone around me, and keeping everyone as calm as I can. By staying calm, I can make people feel safe. When they feel safe, they perform better. When they don't feel safe, they perform terribly. And so safety leads to better performance. It leads to a happier morale. It leads to, I want to do things that you want me to do because I feel safe around you. And the more I do to please you, the more safe I feel. So I get people could gravitate towards that. And I work on that because I used to tell parents all the time, there's 3 things you can't do. There's 3 things I'm going to take from you. I want you to help your child. But here's 3 things you can't do. 1, you cannot yell. 2, you cannot negative reinforce. What that means is you can't discuss their bad behavior at all. And number 3, you cannot punish. So you cannot punish, you cannot discuss their bad behavior, and you can't what was the first one I said?
Yeah.
A yell, and you cannot yell. Now, help someone. I don't get to negative reinforce. I don't get to lecture and yell, and I don't get to punish. I won't use any of those. Now, how would you help someone? See? Because you think someone's doing something wrong, so you're just going to yell at them, or you're going to tell them what they're doing wrong and they're going to stop, or you're going to punish them if they don't stop. And there's problems to all three of those. None of them work. And so what really can spark change is safety, inspiration. You can provide safety and inspiration, and you provide safety through calm. Easy, easy. When I don't provide safety, things start going haywire immediately, and I can feel it. And I've been there before. People will start turning on you. People will start talking about you behind your back. People will think you're nuts. And so this is the part of the journey where I am grateful that each one of you get the opportunity to experience this, that you get the opportunity to be in pain, that you get to notice that it's pain. Many people live mediocre lives that they never notice their pain, and they go on righteously through their life without adversity. And I feel sorry for those folks. I've had the luxury of having 2 lives. I got to numb my pain with drugs and alcohol, and I had fun doing that. And I destroyed because I couldn't handle my pain. I dumped all my pain on everyone else, and I made them take it. I made them worry at night while I was out relieving my pain. And then I got into sobriety, and I was able to dump my pain through yelling on anyone who I felt was wronging me. Anyone I felt I couldn't control, I would just yell louder. And so I got to dump more pain. And then I got this next part of this journey where I learned how to not dump pain on people. Where maybe if I can just stay calm, no matter how much pain someone's dumping on me, no matter what they're saying, I can breathe through that resistance. I can feel my resistance. I can name it. And I can be expansive. And their bad behavior will help me expand. So I actually need more of it. I need to throw myself into situations where people are behaving poorly, because their bad behavior gives me a chance to grow. It's not going to kill anyone. It's okay. And I can con it off as my fear about the worst possible case scenario that's going to happen. So somebody goes, why are you so scared? And then everyone goes, because this could happen. And it's always a stretch. It's always a stretch. It's like, well, your kid's smoking pot, or whatever it is. Well, what's all the fear? So this is the part where we teach a new language and people learn with each other. Imagine 4 people in a household, everyone noticing their own pain. It's no longer blaming. It's like, oh, there's my resistance. And someone else says, there's my resistance. I'm in resistance now. And they described the resistance to each other, and they said, oh, wow, look at this. Look at us all dealing with our pain, rather than a household that's dumping pain, throwing pain on each other. Your fault. You got me this way. Fuck you. Wow. What we have here, what we've got in this, what is here, that everyone goes, what goes on down here? I think it's safe. Absence of blame. You don't allow it. Eat your own pain. You just yelled, you're the problem. You're always the problem every time. So we learn. And then you try to get people to speak from the heart. And this is hard. Because people don't want to speak from the heart. They want to speak from blame. They want to speak from what you're doing wrong and stop. They want to lecture. I'll just tell you, anytime you need to talk to somebody, you're about to make a mistake. Every time. Every time you need to send a text, you're about to make a mistake. Because why you need to talk or why you need to text is because you're in pain. And you don't want to handle it, and you think that's going to relieve your pain. Oh. It's all around us. It's in us. It's human. It's alive. Well, we learn to deal with it. Dump some on me tonight. I'll take it. All the yelling, whatever someone would do, I could take pain. It's okay. You can say words. All right, I don't like you. I disagree. Well, okay. I'm a Democrat. Okay. I'm a Republican. Okay, well, you're both crazy. Whatever it is. I don't know who's crazier. Anyways. Okay. Questions? Ask, comments.
Let's open it up. So you can use the raise your hand feature on your device. You can let us know in the chat that you have something to say. I'm just reading a message.
Oh, Bev Tandy says she wants to share.
Okay, yeah. So let's see if it works, Bev. We can try it. Hi, Bev. Can we hear you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I just can't
I
pronounce
know. Can you hear me? Art's been frozen for the entire hour.
Oh, for you, I've been frozen?
You're a little
Can you
choppy.
hear me? Okay? Garbled.
Let's try it. You're a little choppy.
Yeah. I'll make it really short. And I'll type it in the chat if I cut out. But I just wanted to say this resonates so much for me, and Kendall can verify this, because I parented from fear, which turned into anger for 8 years. I was scared to death, and that manifested as anger. And on March 3rd, when she first entered your program, and she was honest with me and I was honest with her about my feelings, I had the most relief I have ever had in my life, just to be transparent and honest and verbalize how I was feeling, and she could verbalize how she was.
Oh, darn.
No.
She just dropped. Oh, darn. That was so good. She'll pop back on.
Tracy looks like Jennifer Aniston tonight. I was thinking we had Jennifer Aniston on.
I think you.
Oh, she's
I
back.
lost you, but it was just wonderful. I just wanted to share. Yeah, I'm back. I reconnected like 50 times. Sucks to be without power and internet.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. We definitely heard you and we felt you. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, I think,
Thanks.
I think for so long, people don't understand what pain is. And I think that that's the major problem, is that people don't even know they're in pain. No one teaches us this. They teach us dominance. They teach us alpha male. They teach us all this kind of stuff that we're supposed to be like, fight. Things aren't going our way, we beat somebody up. If we're bigger, we can just, whatever.
I'd love to get you.
Yeah.
We'd love to see and hear from you, Tracy. We can see your message.
She says
It
she's
seems
having
like-
a hard time speaking from this place with Joe. Well, there's several reasons for that. It is very hard to speak to somebody from your heart when they're on drugs. And so we have to distinguish between, really, really, when someone's on drugs, this is a very difficult proposition, because they're not going to receive it, and they're not going to be in a place. They're not going to be in a place where, it could even land. And so you might be wasting your breath. Now, you still don't really want to be speaking from pain, because you can give a person another reason to use it against you. And so you want to learn to speak without your pain, but don't really believe in the fact that these conversations are going to make a difference. With someone that's in active use, what makes a difference is their circumstances. That's what makes a difference, because none of it's real. So it's not like they're out there using drugs because you haven't had the depth of the conversations with them, or you've done something wrong. They're out there using drugs, and everything is just a front. And so they're not really struggling, not knowing their mother doesn't love them or anything like that. And you don't need to go out and prove that you love them, and you don't need to say that stuff because it's not going to land anyways. And what really needs to happen is their circumstances needs to change. Right now, something's in their circumstances that allows this to keep going. And no matter how much you speak from the heart, nothing's going to change until those circumstances change. You know, so these conversations are for after, when we get people into treatment and we start talking about the resentment and we start talking about, you know, because the treatment, getting them into treatment, that's a war. You can't just talk in the middle of a war. You're in a war, and you got to call it. And you also got to know that these people, all of us that are out using drugs and hurting our families, we know it. It's not real, but we're resistant. You look beautiful, by the way, Tracy.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was thinking we had Jennifer Aniston on tonight. That's what I was thinking.
You do look beautiful, Tracy.
Well, I thank you for that, and I appreciate your words because it actually has relieved a lot of pressure I feel that I'm under, because I recognize I'm not able to speak to him from the heart, and like you said, it's not the appropriate time. Even though I kind of keep trying, I'm not enabling. I'm holding myself. I feel very proud of myself, and thank you because you've taught me a lot. There's no doubt. But that hearing you say that, actually, it takes the load off.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you know, the only thing you can really do in these scenarios is try to alter circumstances, but sometimes that's futile. So you look at the circumstances and you go, oh, there's nothing I can do here, and then you let it rest. And
Pray.
You breathe and pray and move on. And, you know, it sucks, but that's just all there's left to do.
Well, I don't know. I would just say, Tracy, I just would really encourage you, let's do a check-in. Let's just take a look at the situation. It would really be worth, you know, I know you've been on Solution Group, but we're out of touch personally. So
I'm open to that.
I would say it's worth taking a look at the situation again, and let's kind of recalibrate the situation of where we're at so we can kind of identify, is there a move you can make? Yeah, really important. Is there a move you can make? There might be. So it might not be time yet for you not to do
that. I appreciate that. I'll talk to you soon then. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Please.
So Lisa has a comment in the chat, and I'd like to address it. She says, not understanding why calling a trusted friend to talk would be a bad way to go, work through it, or a meeting or a counselor. And I want to address that, because I'm not going to say bad way to go. What I'm going to say is what you're doing in those scenarios. If I have resistance and I need to talk to somebody to get rid of that resistance, I would say that it's not going to help you grow. I would say that what it's going to do is not make you expand because of this pain, and meet the pain at where it is and look into the resistance and feel the resistance. It's rather you're going to dump the pain and vent, which venting is what people do. And we say venting, and someone says, I need to vent. And that's what you're doing. You're venting your pain. You're venting it. So there's resistance. And when you vent, you feel no more resistance because you vent. It's like a helium balloon spraying all over the room until there's no air left in the balloon. And that's just not what I'm talking about. People do it. I need to do it sometimes. But what happens when you need to vent is there was a something happening where your body wasn't in resistance. Your body went into resistance. Your mind took over to protect your body, and it started blaming the resistance on the situation. And it started saying, I'm in resistance because this person's doing this and this person's doing this. And then I need to vent those thoughts out to somebody else, and they will come in the form of pain to someone else, and they will be vented out as blame. Now, if you could get yourself to a point where you went, there's resistance, and you could describe that resistance and describe your own pain, and you feel you want to just talk about pain with someone, that would be a different story. But what I'm trying to say is there is an opportunity for real growth here, real growth. And venting doesn't grow us. Venting doesn't do that. If you need to vent, that means you missed where consciousness met the pain. You missed it. Because if you hit where consciousness, where your awareness meets the pain comes up, your awareness meets it, and your awareness leans back and goes, there's my own resistance. I can feel it. That's what he's talking about. There's pain. Now it won't go to the mind. It won't go to blame. You won't need to vent. You will go, there's my resistance. That's what he means. And now that opportunity to sit with the resistance and go, okay, what am I fearful of here? What's going on? Where did this resistance come from? Now I can just track back my own fear. I can look at why I'm in resistance, and I can grow from that resistance. But see, you're not looking at, if you need to talk to somebody else, you're not looking at your own resistance. You're talking about what they did. And so there's no growth there. So you're now talking about what they did and what caused it, and you're not taking responsibility for it. And so all that is just, and it's normal, I'd say vent rather than don't vent. If you need to vent, you got to vent. It's too late. Once you need to talk, it's too late. You need to talk. And so, yeah, it's preferable then that you talk to somebody else rather than the person you need to talk to, because you got to run it by them. But you might get to a place where you don't need it, where you can handle all the pain like scuba, like a self-contained pain apparatus. You can just take it in. So, and that you can, anything else you want to ask, Lisa, or?
I guess that's why that's why I don't really talk to anybody anymore. Pretty much.
Well, there was a lot of times that you talked to me, and it's fine. Venting is fine. It's preferable to stuffing. It's preferable to using drugs and alcohol yourself.
Well, yeah, but I felt like when you and I talked, it was productive. Because, it was for me. I don't know about you, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying for sure.
Well, let me talk about our conversations then.
What's that?
Let me talk about our conversations and why we would find them productive, because you would be in pain somewhat over the situation, over a misunderstanding of who I was, or a misunderstanding of the program, or a misunderstanding of your daughter, or whatever it was that was causing that pain. And then you would call me to let it out, and you would get to let it out. And I would be able to let you let it out. And so that's fine. And that's why with me, once somebody lets out their pain, I go back to productivity and what you could do to make a difference, rather than, yeah, that sucks and I feel sorry for you and all that kind of stuff. So, but I want to make it clear to everyone, if your consciousness doesn't meet this resistance, and I'm talking about in traffic, I'm talking about everywhere. I'm talking about seeing when somebody says something to you that it just shifted your body, then that's what I'm speaking about tonight. And I'm speaking about how to expand and handle more and more pain. And not just with this situation with your kids. I'm talking about at work. I'm talking about right now, there's a boss tomorrow that's going to yell because that's all he has in his repertoire. And he's ridiculous. And there's no way around that he's ridiculous. So anyways.
She was trying to turn off her camera. Because I had her on spotlight.
But more will be revealed there. I'm just trying to tell a story about what it is that I felt I used to do with my pain compared to what I do now. And by the way, venting, it very rarely works, because the person that's receiving it normally doesn't want to hear it or is like, yeah. And they might want to, but it works when then someone else wants to vent back at you, and then you kind of get into like a venting about whose life's worst situation. And that it kind of makes somebody feel better for a minute. But that's not what we're talking about here. Talking about here is I want to expand. I want to be able to handle whatever people have going on. I want to be able to handle all up until anything and remain calm no matter what. Somebody yelling at me? Okay. All right. Whatever it is. Somebody steals my wallet or had my car stolen once. I went back to bed. They're about your car, Art. Okay, I'm gonna get a little more sleep. We'll deal with it when I wake up. And that's all a product of pain manufacturing. I want to be a pain facilitator. I want you to give me as much as possible, and I want to take it, and I want to be as big as I can. And every time I vent, I get a little smaller. I get a little not as big because I need to vent because I couldn't handle it. And so I like to handle it, and the only way to handle it is have my consciousness meet the pain and name it. There it is. In the middle of a conversation, my head's going, oh, there's your heart rate, Art. They're elevating it. You're going to want to yell soon. Stop, breathe, feel the elevation. What did she say in the chat? Yeah.
Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Just kidding. I'll meet you halfway on this art. Look.
Prove it. Where's half?
So we have about 10 minutes left. I want to take a moment. I just want to take a moment to address the auction one more time here. And let's just take 5 minutes here. Let me turn the camera here real quick. So Becky, you can help me out here. Oops. Okay, so in addition to getting your tickets for the auction, and in addition to helping us spread the word by hanging posters, getting postcards out, we need items for the auction. And so last week we had asked, we're looking for people that love putting together a basket. These are for the creative people that like to do that kind of thing. If you don't like to do that thing, no worries, there's something else for you. But for those of you who love putting a basket together, we're looking for X number, I don't have a number yet, as many as we could possibly get, of themed baskets put together by you guys. So what this means is by September 12th, if you can choose your theme, so maybe you love going to the pet store and buying pet products, so you're going to put a pet basket together.
And certainly knows you
or
have.
you're a guy.
Seen it all. He's been through hundreds of those surgeries, so.
Let's see who's.
He was jumping out.
Somebody's unmuted. Let me.
Basically, can make it.
Oops, Roger and Dex got unmuted. Maybe you love shopping for tools. You men want to put a big tool basket, a men's basket together. Maybe home decor. Maybe a date night basket. You name it. Whatever you love to shop for, you're going to put a basket together. And what just dawned on me too, you guys, all you guys from the military and Milton houses, you guys could put a basket together. You guys, Janet, you could head this up. I'm assuming Janet's there. Janet could head this up. And you guys could determine a theme. And everybody from the houses participate. And maybe everybody just $25. All of you put in $25 worth of things and you put this awesome basket together that's total value is $300 and it's something cool. And it's just from you graduates, something like that. So literally everybody can participate in this. So we need cool baskets put together, okay? By September 12th, because what we're looking for is to get as many pre-made baskets put together as we possibly can. So that way we have a little bit of leeway time to know, okay, what do we already have? What are we low on? What do we still need? Somebody else unmuted?
No.
Okay. And what do we still need to put the pedal to the metal and rev up things between mid-September and 2 more weeks left to gather other items. So that's that. And so if you would like to say, yes, you're going to do this and you're on a mission to do this, let me know, or Becky, so we can put you on the list and we know that that's coming. So we have an idea that that is something you're working on, so we know it's coming. Also, for you people that don't have any interest in actually putting the basket together because you're not crafty, and that's fine. What we need from you all is just to gather things. Just like maybe you have some connections at the local restaurants, and while you're eating dinner, you just ask the manager, have they heard of Battlefield? We're doing our 6th annual fundraising event. Great organization because of XYZ, whatever's true for you, and let them know we're having this fundraising auction. We're looking for as many gift cards from your restaurant. We're looking for items, we're looking for products, we're looking for experiences, services, you name it. We're looking for cool stuff that people would want to bid on. So what would you want to bid on if you go to an event like this? Those are the kinds of things we're looking for. Okay, all those items we're gathering by October 3rd. That's the deadline. October 3rd is the deadline, because then we're going to have a basket wrapping party. This is what I'm missing. This view. Because then we're having a basket wrapping party, which I'm waiting to hear from Donna. Donna, if you're out there, please raise your hand over there. We're looking for, in October, where all of us ladies are getting together to wrap the baskets. All the baskets that aren't already made, and we're putting things together, lumping them together, making baskets for the auction, okay? So that's that. One more thing that we're looking for is sponsorships. Sponsorships are where we help pay for the expenses of an auction above and beyond the ticket sales. And sponsorships are for organizations. Can you ask your job? I know like Mitra and Dave Komar, they got sponsorships from their companies for the 5K, which was awesome. This is what we're looking for. We have levels anywhere from $300 on up to $10,000 for sponsors. Sponsors to whether it's family sponsorship, whether it's an organization, whether it's in honor and memory of someone that's passed. The sponsorships there's a lot of cool perks to being a sponsor, and we have an actual sponsor form on our website. So if you go to battlefieldaddiction.com, you click on auction sponsorships, you're going to see the level. I can email you the form, but we're looking for as many people as possible that can get those in your boss's hands. So hopefully that's a little more clear. I know I was a little jumbled in the beginning, and hopefully that's clear. Becky, was I clear? Is there anything I missed?
Maybe give a couple examples. Like today, Sharon Equity emailed me and said, "Can you email me all the donation forms so I can give it to my manager?" So just things like that. Like we can email it to you right at work when you're thinking about it. You can print them out, show all the sponsorship levels that we have, or just donation, like a procurement form for an item if they want to donate an item instead. The other thing is, like get together with your friends, like you were saying at the house. Like Kristen and I were just talking. We thought it'd be really cool to do like a cheese and wine basket with like a charcuterie board. And so we started talking, and I brought it up to my friend Cindy, and her brother just happens to be, one of the part owners of Peterson Cheese. So we're gonna get meats and cheeses to go with it. So you don't have to do it all yourself. You can actually ask for donations to put in your basket. So that's another way you can put things together that makes sense. So if you have an idea, like I have an idea that's something that I like and that I would want to get myself, then it makes it easier to go ask. You can say, "Hey, I'm putting together this basket, and what would really be great to go with that would be this ice cream. Would you donate some ice cream for it?" And usually they're like, "Oh, sure." They're all over it. So it helps if you already have an idea or you're already starting something.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And if there's any auction questions out there, please reach out. Anybody can ask now at the end here, or reach out and we'll get your questions answered. We can talk more about it tomorrow on Mom's Group as well. Just want to make sure it's all really crystal clear, because we've got 60 days and it's going to be a great event. So I can't wait. And next week, watch party again. All you guys who are local, thanks for showing up there at the Kent's house. For those of you at home, you're welcome to join next week. The Wiggins are going to host again next week. And then the following week, I'll be in town. So I'll be there on the 29th or whatever that is. And then Art will be in town on September 12th. So, and Sherry Pennington will be hosting that night with Art there in person. So mark your calendars. All right. I'll turn it back over to Art here so he can have his closing thoughts. So Oh, I got to change the camera, sorry. There's all these steps here, okay. There we go, and there we go, okay.
Well, I don't want people to miss what I'm actually asking. And I'm asking you and challenging you for the sake of your family, for the sake of your life, for the sake of your job, to look at this process and to understand what I'm saying when I say, what does it mean when consciousness meets pain? What does this mean? And everyone, I don't see questions raised, so everyone must understand that it's a point where you're aware that you're in pain. And you're aware that you're in pain because you feel this resistance in your body. And you notice the resistance before that resistance goes to the mind. So once it goes to the mind is going to blame. The mind is going to blame your resistance on someone, something out there in the world. And to grow up past that, to take your pain in, to be able to feel just call it what it is. There's resistance. Now we deal with it. We sit with it, and we learn not to dump it on other human beings. What we are doing as human beings is transferring pain amongst each other. We're transferring it through blame, we're transferring it through anger, and we're in resistance, and we transfer that resistance onto another human. Or we don't. We take drugs, and we transfer it into that world. But don't mistake all this stuff and think that you're not in pain. Every time your body is in resistance, you are in pain. To notice that pain and to say, there it is, there's what he's talking about, and not blame anyone else for it. Just say it's from your insecurities, it's from your life, it's from your trauma, and I'm broken. And this is how I heal. People ask, how do you heal? You heal by dealing with resistance. That's how you heal. Every time you feel resistance, you're aware of it, you heal. You don't blame. You don't avoid. You sit with it. So that's what I'm asking. And if we can do this, if we can get to a place where we're not in resistance, we can now speak from the heart to each other. We can describe what it's like to be a human in pain. We can describe what it's like to feel what they're going through. We can describe what we're going through. And we can now not transfer pain, but transfer experiences. We can talk about the experience of being me, and you can talk about the experience of being you. And now we're not connecting each other and talking to each other from good talking to bad. That's the worst form of communication. I'm good, you're bad. You need to be like me. It's the worst form of communication. So now we're talking from good to good. If we can get rid of our resistance, we can see the good, and we can talk from good to good. We no longer have to talk from good to bad. I don't have to talk to somebody who's behaving poorly from my goodness and tell them that I'm better than them and anything. I can get to a place where I can be real, and I can understand with compassion their experience, and I can go, oh, I can speak from my goodness to their goodness, not speaking from good to bad. When we're in resistance, we are talking from good to bad. I am good, you are bad, you need to stop. I am good, you are bad, you need to stop. It's just not that way. Everyone's good. For the most part, everyone's just good. So hopefully with this practice, we can have another language to speak to each other on. We can stop blaming and accusing, and we can inquire, and we can talk to each other about their experience, and we can share, and we can be real adult-like in this process. And we can learn to handle our own pain. So thank you. We'll see you next week.
So good. Thank you, everybody. And Donna, check your voicemail. Would love to chat tomorrow. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night. Good night.